It's a hate crime hoax. Another story, and it's very entertaining, and I can't believe the police went as far as they did to get DNA evidence from all of the people involved in this so that they could accuse this woman of putting a fake noose on her desk. Here's the quick version. She found a noose on her desk, this lady, and the cops came in and said, oh, yeah, a noose on your desk? How about we get DNA from everybody involved? And they found on the noose was only her DNA, apparently. And so they're accusing her now of planting the noose on her own desk and filing a false police report. Because, ladies and gentlemen, there is no far-right white supremacy prevalent in this country. Most people just want to be left alone, and these people are evil scumbags. Now, let me just stress, I don't think all liberal leftists are doing these things, but they're more than happy to latch onto any and everything to espouse their cult-like ideology. From the Post-Millennial, Allentown, PA school employee charged for planting noose on her own desk and reporting it to the police. Initially cooperative, Ms. Brown later requested the investigation be discontinued. A Pennsylvania school employee has been charged after allegedly planting a noose on her own desk and then reporting it to law enforcement. Allentown police announced on Monday that LaTarsha Brown, a member of the Allentown School District Board of Directors, has been charged with tampering with or fabricating physical evidence and false reports to law enforcement, both misdemeanors. Allentown Police Criminal Investigation Division Lieutenant Stephen Milkovitz said during a press conference that on January 10th, 2025, around 7:11 a.m., Brown arrived at her City Hall office. At around 7:38 a.m., Brown notified local police that she had discovered what she believed to be a noose on her desk when she came in that morning. Well, authorities launched an investigation to find the person responsible, during which video surveillance and building access control records were reviewed to identify who was on the third floor where Brown worked between the time Brown left her office the night prior to when she came in. Employees were identified and interviewed and all agreed to provide DNA samples except for Mrs. Brown. Initially cooperative, she later requested the investigation be discontinued. Oh, God. Come on, Jussie Smollett 2.0. On January 14th, the noose was submitted to the PA State Crime Lab for DNA testing. 10 days later, a search warrant was approved by the Lehigh County District Attorney's Office for Brown's DNA, a sample of which was obtained the same day. Brown's DNA was submitted to compare against DNA recovered from the noose. On March 10th, Forensic DNA Division issued a report indicating that Brown's DNA matched the DNA profile obtained from the swabs of both the outer surface and inner knotted portion of the noose after it was taken apart, said Milkovitz, who added that no other DNA gathered matched. In response, charges were filed against Brown. Holy smokes. So inside, as they unraveled the noose, there was DNA. It was hers, meaning she tied it. In January, the Allentown School District celebrated Brown in a post on Instagram, calling her deeply committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion. In 2024, Brown was named a social justice ambassador for the Pennsylvania Human Rights Commission. My friends, I give you...
The purpose of this press conference is to provide an update regarding the Noose investigation.
Okay, come on.
I want to take a moment to thank the following agencies who assisted in this case: the Lehigh County District Attorney's Office, the Pennsylvania State Police Crime Lab, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The Allentown Police Department conducted a thorough investigation, including interviews with persons, analysis of evidence, and consultation with the District Attorney's Office of Lehigh County. As a result of the subsequent investigation, LaTarsha Brown was charged with tampering with or fabricating physical evidence, a misdemeanor of the second degree, and false reports to law enforcement, a misdemeanor of the third degree. As in every criminal case, the fact that a warrant has been issued or a complaint has been filed is merely an accusation. The defendant is presumed innocent until and unless proven guilty in a court of law. I'm now going to ask Captain Milkovitz to provide a summation of this investigation.
Good afternoon, everybody. Captain Milkovitz, Criminal Investigations Division. On January 10, 2025, at approximately 7:11 a.m., Allentown City employee LaTarsha Brown arrived at her office on the third floor of City Hall. At approximately 7:38 a.m., Ms. Brown notified the Allentown Police Department that she discovered what she believed to be a noose on her desk upon arriving at work. Officers assigned to the Community Outreach Unit, Crime Scene Identification Unit, and Criminal Investigations Unit responded, initiating a criminal investigation to identify the individual responsible for placing the noose on Ms. Brown's desk. During the investigation, video surveillance and building access control records were reviewed to identify city employees present on the third floor of City Hall between the time Ms. Brown left for work on the afternoon of January 9, 2025.
All right, we get it. Let's jump to the end.
On March 10, 2025, the Forensic DNA Division of the Pennsylvania State Police issued a written report indicating that Ms. Brown's DNA matched the DNA profile obtained from the swabs of both the outer surface and inner knotted portion of the noose after it was taken apart. No other person's DNA profiles found on the evidentiary items involved in this investigation. As a result of this investigation earlier today, Detective Harold Bonds of the Allentown Police Department filed charges against LaTarsha Brown at District Court 31-2-01 for the criminal offenses outlined earlier by Chief Roca.
All right, so it's basically what we already knew. But they do have this media release, which I think largely is going to contain a lot of the information. But the results are, resulting in the investigation, tampering with or fabricating physical evidence, a misdemeanor, and false reports to law enforcement. My friends, let us just discuss what has been apparent to all of us for some time. There is no weird far right. It is often the left fabricating this. Who's violent? Left or right? The left. Who's actually engaged in hate crimes? The left. This is the fascinating thing that when it comes to this debate, you know, I had a debate with this liberal guy and he says the right commits more acts of terror. And I said, by whose metric? And he starts citing these organizations. And I'm like, how is it that a sovereign citizen, these are people who believe that they are free from government controls, are right wing. White supremacists are right wing. So you've got authoritarian nationalists who want racial identitarianism for white people, and that is right. And the guy who completely opposes all government in every capacity is also right. And so when you get fringe ideologies, they say, that's right wing. Look, when like a Muslim does something, we don't call that right or left, but that's how the left plays it. If there is a Christian guy, they say he's far right. The left, on the other hand, actually does engage in widespread violence and hoaxes and hate crimes. The example, of course, is famously in Trump's first term, there was an ongoing list that tracked about 1,000 attacks against Trump supporters. And then they stopped. And I'm like, why did you stop tracking that? That was a pretty good list. Now, of course, we have the attacks against Tesla owners. Even innocent people who bought an electric car a couple of years ago and aren't political are getting their cars vandalized. It's insane. These people, even after what Jussie Smollett did, are still fabricating these hoaxes. At what point do regular Americans say, we get it, it's fake? Yeah, that's it, my friends. It is fake indeed, and they keep doing it because people believe it no matter what. There's this viral video I saw where this guy was wearing a hat with an American flag on it, and he was asking people questions, and this woman said, you're far right, and you're here to go. And he's like, what? He's like, no, I'm just genuinely curious. Like, no, you're a right-winger. You're wearing an American flag. And he's like, It's just a beanie that I bought from REI. And she's screaming in his face. How do we as a nation deal with these people who vote? Honest question. They vote. They lie. They cheat. Now, to be fair, I want to stress this. Innocent until proven guilty. We don't know exactly what happened with this lady, and I don't want to condemn her just because they've accused her of doing it. I mean that sincerely. Jussie Smollett was investigated, and I think he largely got away with trying to perpetrate this massive hoax. The conspiracy behind that was the intention of the hoax was to help Democrats pass some kind of advanced lynching bill. And it's like, what is their end game with all this stuff? I suppose it's to make this country more like South Africa. Racial identitarian policy pushed, and then land appropriations and things like this. That's the direction we're going. What does it serve? The destruction of this country. That's it. These leftists largely hate the United States. And something I heard recently is that, like many of these activists, their view is it doesn't matter if the rights are enshrined in the Constitution. The founding fathers were evil people. They were colonizers who stole land, so the Constitution is meaningless. I actually don't view it that way. I think more the founding fathers were products of their time and generation. Conquest and settlement were normal things. Some people win, some people lose. Wars happen. We socially evolve beyond this point, and now we try to uphold the rights of everybody. But that does not mean reversing time 200 years and seizing the homes of people who have no idea what you're talking about. That would just destabilize your country. But if this persists, that's what you get. It's clear now, ain't nobody tolerating this. So bravo to the police in Allentown, in PA, for not simply just saying, okay, we're going to call it what it is. Bravo for them seeing it for what it really was, investigating, and now criminally charging this individual. But again, I'll stress, we'll see what happens in court. Maybe she didn't do it. Kind of think she did. We'll see. I'll wrap it up there, my friends. Smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Stay tuned. We got more segments coming up, and we'll see you all shortly.